Okay, excellent. Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us for our second boot camp under this new initiative with Odyssey DAO. Very excited to have Arthur Fox here with us this evening from YieldSeeker. We're going to be digging into building an AI crypto agent, which is something that really ties in the history of Odyssey DAO with this new initiative we've kicked off in the summer about learning AI and making that part of the learning experience here with Odyssey DAO. Arthur has a very interesting background where the tools he's going to be walking us through, he actually used himself with an early stage of YieldSeeker, which is his AI crypto agent company. And Arthur, if I'm not mistaken, you actually won ETH Global as well too, didn't you, with this build? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Sure. Hello, everyone. So specifically answering that question, earlier this year, I think it was February, me and my co-founder, we took part in the ETH Global AI Agent Hackathon, and they were kind of incentivizing to use certain tools, and we ended up using Coinbase's Agent Kit, which is what we're going to discuss during today. And yeah, our project came top 10 out of 518 projects. And that's actually kind of where we kind of kicked off. We use that as kind of a launch pad to build it out. And, it's a product that people are using. There's over 2,000 agents have been created. I think it's 2,250 or something like that. And the platform's had over $650,000 in AUM. But yeah, I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of work over since February to now. We're getting into October, right? So what we're doing here is very much just the basics, but it was essentially the starting place to build a real product with real users. So hopefully people will be able to take something away from what we're doing today.
No,
Can I interject real quick, Frank, and ask a question?
Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah, Arthur, because I'm curious personally, but what was that moment like for you when you built something that started to gain traction and then maybe even started to generate revenue for you? Like having that eureka moment. Again, asking because I'm curious because I haven't had that moment yet. So I'm curious as to like what's that moment like? What does that feel like? And then like how do you build on that like to keep the momentum going and whatnot?
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, me and my co-founder, we've been doing software for a long time. We're both computer science. We know each other because we did study computer science together at university. And so we've been building stuff for a long time. But we, specifically with this company, we've actually been building for other people. The company's called TokenPage. So if you search for tokenpage.xyz, you'll come across us, and we've basically been a boutique software agency in Web3, right? Although my co-founder from before he even got into crypto, I kind of convinced him to get in before he was actually CTO in an AI hedge fund business. So basically, AI has been part of like his thing for a long time as well. And I mean, everything accelerated with the whole LLM side of things, ChatGPT, etc. But AI has obviously been around for a long time. But the point here is we've been building for a long time and building a lot for other people. And it took a while for us to find something that we could call our own. And so it's been really fulfilling and exciting to like actually, have that moment of like, oh, people are really liking this. It's getting some traction. I mean, it's still very early days, but we're not really at the like zero moment anymore. We're kind of beyond the 0 to 1. It's like 1 point something, right? So it's been a really good moment, really good journey so far, and like it's exciting. I hope that answers that question.
It did. No, thank you. All right, thank you. Thanks, Frank. Continue.
Yeah, no, great question, Ronnie. I think it's always fascinating to learn, about that, like going from step one to step two, right? And just like what were the components that helped you get there? Because it's such a big step to take when you're going from that concept to a product like YieldSeeker now that yeah, as you mentioned, Arthur is managing over $500,000 of funds now, which is just incredible in such a short period of time. So very excited to dig in here with you. Would love to know just a little bit more about your background as well too. I know you probably had a lot more going on before YieldSeeker. As you mentioned, you had TokenPage. You've been kind of a boutique development house for a while in Web3. So what's your background? Please share that with us.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good question, and it's good that I've kind of half answered it already. So like that's what we've been doing in crypto, the Web3 space, for the last 3.5 years or something like that. Basically building for other people, trying to figure out something that could be our own, and this has kind of come out. I also have like a small community for beginners where I just teach, the basics of crypto. Me personally, I got involved in the space in 2016. So it's been almost a decade, and I just love everything about the space. I mean, not everything, obviously things have good and bad, but like as soon as I got into the space, I kind of fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, and some of my friends call me the Bitcoin Jehovah's Witness. I just bring everyone the good word of Bitcoin. And I think like the whole of crypto is just incredible, and AI has just kind of accelerated it, right? And I think it's given it even more reason to exist. And there's a lot that we could go down a big rabbit hole talking about that, so I won't do that. But before that, like a long time ago, I worked in video games. I worked at Sony making video games as a developer. And I worked in a fintech afterwards, payments fintech. Yeah, so I've done a lot of startup stuff as well, and just but really excited about crypto and AI at the moment. And I think just in general, technology is in an exciting place.
It certainly is a very interesting time to be alive here. I think right now, just with all these techs coming to a head, and especially over the last 10, 20 years, even the changes we've seen have been pretty phenomenal. So,
By the way, it's always been a dream of mine to work like at a major like video game studio. It's just like it looks like one big bat cave. Like when I when I see those like the workplaces, what they look like online, and plus you're just working on video games all day. It's just since I think I was in college, I always wanted to work at a video game studio making video games. So that's awesome. You got to do that.
It was my childhood dream as well. It was my childhood dream, and yeah, it was very fulfilling to work. I was working in Sony studio in London, but like every big company, there's challenges, and I think those challenges, when you actually start like living them, they made me like reflect and think maybe that's not what I want to be doing. But I'm big fan of Sony, big fan of video games, so we can have a separate conversation on all of that.
yeah, we might have to. I actually recently booted up my PS3 and just to play some old games. So, so maybe we'll have to do that another chat for sure. That's excellent, Arthur. So yeah, I think this is really cool to have you with us. It's great to have someone just with your experience also kind of leading this. So why don't we dig in, get this started? I think one thing we've kind of previewed is that this would be a great workshop for people to build alongside of you. Do you want to just maybe explain the work environment that we're going to go into, and anything that people should do right now to get set up and prepared for this workshop?
Yeah, so to give a bit of context, myself, Frank, were talking about this a few weeks back, and I said the easiest way I think that I could kind of frame it would be, I have a regular weekly blog. I've ran it for like 3 years. And so what I did was I said, look, I'm just going to make my blog posts about what we're going to cover. So the beauty of that is that I'm basically just going to go through my blog post and actually explain, and we can work through and actually do it together. But you can always go back and just look at the blog post without me, right? Or even rewatch this video. And so like the first thing I kind of actually want to do is share my screen, and let me just see here. So these are the 2 blog posts that kind of cover what we're going to go over. Obviously, if you just read something statically, it's not the same as being on a call like this, and you can ask questions. So hopefully there'll be a lot of value. But if I just share these in the chat, maybe. So this is like, I think you did share them on the email, but I'll share them in here. So part one is basically the first half of what we're gonna do, and part two is the second half. And part one is setting up. Did I just copy the same one twice? No, I didn't. Good.
No, we got separate.
Good. So we'll go through part one first, which will actually just make the template. So Coinbase, I'll get straight into it, right? So the two main tools that we're going to use are Replit and Coinbase's, well, in reality, let me just rephrase that. The main tool is Replit here. It's just that Coinbase have created something called AgentKit, which allows you to just have a templated version. Well, AgentKit is the framework, but they have a templated version with AgentKit that allows you to do a bunch of cool stuff really easily, right? And so that's what we're going to set up at the start. And from there, we'll go and make a more specialized version on top of that template, right? But the beauty with all of this stuff is that you don't need to know how to code. You can use the AI and you can use the template to do all the work for you. So firstly, Replit, if no one's come across Replit, the first thing that, if someone's not come across Replit and they're here, first thing you need to do is like create an account of Replit, right? So you go replit.com, just sign up. You can do this in the background whilst I'm talking about it. And Replit is essentially one of these tools that's kind of appeared. I think Replit's actually been around for a while, but they kind of, when AI, this AI generation of products kind of took over in the last year or so, they moved straight into that space, and they're one of the bigger players in the space. So if you look at Lovable, we've discussed Lovable before in another Odyssey bootcamp. It's a similar concept, and there's a lot of these where basically you speak with an AI and it makes an app for you, right? And they've all got their pros and cons. In this case, we're using Replit because Coinbase have created the template for Replit, right? So
I think Replit is also now owned by Google, is it not? I feel like I remember hearing that somewhere.
I think Replit is a YC company that has been around for like a good little while now.
Yeah.
Y Combinator company, but they began to really speed up their growth with this whole AI version.
I still
So
remember in the early days, like seeing a demo of somebody saying, make me like a gym workout app. And it was like all about like, this is what I want to do. And then literally within a few seconds, they had a mobile app on their phone. And I think that was one of the first aha moments with this whole cycle we're in with AI right now, that was like, wow, this is pretty powerful, these tools.
Yes, 100%. So when you have logged in to Replit, you're going to see something similar to what I showed you on Lovable, where it just says, describe the idea you want to build. And just like what Frank said, you can say, hey, build me a workout app, and it'll start doing it. And you can build iteratively with the AI, just speaking, just through natural language, right? Which is the beauty of all of this stuff. So that's one half of the equation. My blog post is just basically saying what Replit is. It's one of the AI assisted software development spaces. It's growing fast. Lovable and Cursor are examples that I've gone over before, right? Now, the other thing that we're going to need to use here is AgentKit. And AgentKit is a framework by Coinbase, which in their own words allows developers to create AI agents that can autonomously interact with blockchain networks. So the main thing to do here is if you just search for AgentKit, I mean, maybe I'll drop the link. Where was the link? This is the Replit template. Okay, well, I'll show you the link in a sec. So AgentKit is part of the Coinbase developer platform. So that's what they call CDP. And I think Frank said before that anyone, you need to create a CDP account. You don't actually need to load up with any credits, I don't think. But maybe whilst I'm talking, people can do this kind of in the background. They can just search Coinbase developer platform, and yeah, just log in probably won't say open port. Open portal, I think, is because I've already logged in. But yeah, so you'll need to create an account with the Coinbase developer platform. And then within the Coinbase developer platform, they have this thing called AgentKit, which, like I say, allows people to create AI agents that can interact with crypto networks. And so that's what we're going to do here today, right? And that's what this whole lesson is about. And the beauty of AgentKit is exactly this, that it abstracts away a lot of the complexity. Like you don't have to, well, there's a couple of nice things about what we're doing. First of all, AgentKit takes away the complexity code-wise, but actually Replit takes away the fact that you don't need to write any code. You just speak with an AI and it writes the code for you, right? So we're using like AgentKit is the framework that allows the code to be simple to actually create your agent, but we're using Replit, so it's even simpler because it writes the code for you, right? So that's the beauty of just, you know, using these two pieces of technology together. I think someone's said, okay, cool. So yeah, if you want to check out more information about AgentKit, you can just check out my blog post and there's links in there. There's all sorts of information about it, right? But we're going to get straight to it. So the key thing is, like I've said, is that with Replit, you can just remix things. You can remix a template and make, you know, your own AI agent. So let's actually start getting practical now. So hopefully at this point, people have signed up with Replit and created an Coinbase developer platform account, right? Those are the first two things, basically, we need to get started with. So assuming you've done that, then the next thing you want to do is open this link, which I will just check if it's the right one. Yeah, so I'll place this in the chat. So this link here is, like I was saying, it's the template. So with this template, you know, it's built half of the work for you, right? This is script that it's written all for you. You don't need to, I mean, you don't even need to understand how it works, but like, you know, part of the work's already done. So what we're going to do now, people should try to follow along, is click this remix button. I don't know if I should pause and wait for people to say that they're ready.
Yeah, let's maybe pause just for one quick minute here. I'm gonna go through and create these accounts myself as we go, just so I can kind of follow along.
That'd be great.
So Replit is done. I've created my account there, and when I created the account, I just created the free account, like the starter plan. That should be sufficient for what we're doing today.
Yeah, so at the start, yes. But I think when I was doing this, it ended up requiring me to, because I was playing around, it ended up requiring me to put a card in and pay the minimum subscription, which I think is $15 for the first month. So there is a chance that you will get, as we go along, it will require that.
Okay.
But right now, you don't need to do that.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm just finishing creating my account at the Coinbase developer website. Then I think we should be good here.
Also, if anyone has any questions, I don't know if people are following along.
Yeah, please, everyone, if you have a question, you can use the raise your hand reaction. So if you go to React, you'll see at the bottom there's a little raise your hand icon, which you can use then to come up and ask your question to Arthur directly. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can also put it into the chat, and Ronnie will help get those questions asked to Arthur. Ronnie, I think we have one right now, or maybe two. Could you handle those while I just finish creating the account here on my end?
Yeah, I was going to jump in and ask Arthur. Someone is asking, they already have a CDP account for the purposes of the workshop. Should they go ahead and set up their API key?
We will do that in a sec. So
Okay.
we can do that together. But
all right, Srini. So I think that answers your questions, I hope. Yep. All right. Thank you, Arthur.
Cool.
Awesome.
So if I should, then I can just.
Yeah, I think we can keep moving forward, man.
All right, cool. So what we want to do now is just hit remix. Frank, you're gonna follow along.
Yep.
Okay, so like you can name this whatever. I actually already have a project called CDP Agent Kit because I did it first. So I'm just gonna call this like second, like 2. It's the second version, right?
Okay.
I think it will ask you if you're not paying, you'll need to make it public, but it doesn't really matter. This is still kind of like test stuff. It doesn't really matter if it's private.
Yeah. And I'm going to make mine Odyssey version just to,
Yeah.
make it findable possibly.
Yeah. So then, I'm just going to hit use framework.
Okay.
Pretty simple. And then it will kind of come to life here. And so I'm just going to track here so that I don't miss anything. So as you can see, you get the Replit standard kind of page where you can see on the right hand side, like the console and any code that come up here. And this is the chat with the agent, right? Similar on like Lovable and any of these other platforms. So the first thing that you'll probably get is missing secrets. Yeah. So
Just got that.
right. Yeah. So that's the first thing. So basically, the challenge here is, it says someone trying to come in. So the main thing that happens here is for this project to run, it needs to have the API key, which someone asked about earlier. It needs to have a private key for the blockchain for it to actually create an address and manage that address. And we need to have an OpenAI API key. This in principle could work with Claude or anything else, but you'd have to actually go in and change the code, right? So we're not going to do that. We're just going to use OpenAI. And I had mentioned that was another thing that came up in, I think you told people right before we got started that they'd need to do that, right? So the next things we're going to want to do is just set up these keys. So first we'll start with CDP, and that was what someone else asked in the group. So you're going to want to just create an API key. You could just click create here, give it a name, and it'll get created, right? I'll just create one for the sake of it. Okay. With these API keys, in principle, they're meant to be private, right? Because the whole thing here is like an API key allows code or another person to access this account as such. And so you'll get billed, right? And so I'm sharing here. Anything I share, I'll probably delete later so that no one could, come in and, start running my account for me and running up a bill. But on your side, just make sure, you're keeping these values private, right? So let's call this API key 2. I already had like API key 1, not a very creative name. Cool. So like I said, this stuff should be private. So this is the API key for to actually access the Coinbase developer platform. So we just click copy here and we go in here and paste it here. Pretty simple. Okay. And click this add secret button, right? And then you'll see the secret here, and you can actually like view it by clicking this button here. You can see that it's done correctly. And then we go back here and copy the secret, which is the private key essentially, and copy that into here, and then add secret. Does that, people will follow that? That seems simple enough, right?
Yeah. Am I clicking add secret on the top one as well too? Like the API key ID, do I click add secret when I add that API code into the top entry field?
So this field should have gone into CDP API key name. Yeah. And And then if you click add secret, it comes into like this bottom section.
Okay.
So there's the top section here and the bottom section here. If it's successful, you can just see it here, right?
Perfect.
That,
Okay.
that worked. Yeah, yeah. And then
Okay.
on the side, if it's successful, you'll see that here. It's pretty important to make sure you've got this right, because otherwise the agent won't work, right? So we've copied those two in, then we come back here and we say, yeah, we've saved the API key, whatever. Now, if we go into the next thing will be the OpenAI API key. So, I'll just run through here, you create blah, 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 add secrets, cool. Now you want to go into OpenAI, and oops. I'm going to log in. I'm just going to stop sharing.
Yeah, no worries.
AI. Cool. Right. And now you're going to need to go for it.
Yeah. So I'm in the OpenAI API platform, and now I'm creating a new API, and it's asking me to name it like we did previously. And then, am I creating like a new secret key? Is that essentially what I'm creating here as well, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
One sec.
Yep.
But yeah, what you're going to do is you're going to create the key here as well.
Awesome. Just while you're doing that, I just want to give a quick shout out to Katya. Good to see you here. I just saw in the chat that you did this all last week, so good job, good on you. I think you were really good in our AI summer camp as well too, just working ahead and sharing a lot of things. So good to see you here. Just wanted to say hi. Looks like we do have another question in chat too, Arthur, just as you're going through there.
Go for it.
Where is the API key creation space on OpenAI? I see the main.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to remember that now. So the way to find it is as follows. You'll create your own project, right? And then you might be on this page, you might be on this page, you might be on this page. If you go to dashboard and then you find API keys here on the left, you can find it here. So this is one I created earlier. But for this case, we're going to create a new one again. Does that answer that, Frank?
It does for me. Srini was the one that asked. I don't see a response yet, but I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, and even looking at your URL there in the address bar, platform.openai.com/API-keys is where you should go.
Awesome.
Okay.
Then what we want to do is go create new secret key. I'm just going to do the same thing as before. API key 2. Not very creative. Cool. Then we want to take that key and input that here.
Okay.
And that's it. So that's a pretty crucial step, and it involves moving around between all of those things. But it now means that your project basically has, all of the secrets it needs, and it can actually do what's written within the code, right? So if we were to actually look at the code.
Yeah, let's do that. So there's still one left, right? Like at this point, we should still have one empty.
Yes. Oh, that's a good point. So
ID.
the network ID is for what network you're on, right? And I think, if I remember correctly, the network ID is set by default to base Sepolia. So if you don't know what Sepolia means, you probably heard of base. Base is a network, right? Sepolia is a test net. So these test nets, they keep changing and they get different names. Like There's all sorts of testnet names. There was Gurley in the past. There's Holsky, I'm saying it right. And Sepolia is kind of the main testnet right now, right? As Ethereum has evolved and technology has evolved, different names and different naming conventions have appeared for the testnet. But if you're on Ethereum Sepolia, that would be the Ethereum testnet. Base Sepolia on the base testnet. Avalanche, I don't know, AVAX, whatever it's called, depending on the context, right?
So like in layman's terms, like I understand we've added in APIs so that we're essentially allowing this to have access to different tools to create this template we've downloaded. But the network, how would you reference that? Is it like essentially like the internet connection that this tool is going to use to gather information? Just like what does it mean by network?
It's specifically the blockchain you're referencing. So
okay. All right.
It's network in the sense of the blockchain, right?
Okay.
So like I say, it's the base chain or the Ethereum chain or the whatever chain. And in this case, we're looking at the Sepolia version of base. So it's the testnet version of base. What does that mean? It means that it's not real ETH, right? It's test ETH. It's not real money. It makes the whole thing easier. Whenever you're building anything, any smart contract work or any development work that you do in crypto, you always do it Web3, whatever. You always do it on the testnet first, just to see that things don't break and whatever. And when you're doing something that's quite complex, you'll potentially get auditors involved and so on and so forth. And that's where you want to do all your stuff on testnet, basically, because that's where you can make mistakes and it doesn't really matter. As soon as you move it onto the mainnet, it's going to cost you money to actually put it on chain. You're gonna
and that's where it becomes fully public, I guess, at that point as well too, right? Okay.
I mean, even the testnet is fully public. It is actually basically the same in that sense. That the key thing with testnets, this is just a curious side note, is that they don't follow like the standard mining algorithms, or like it's not proof of stake in a standard sense, or proof of work depending on the blockchain. It's usually proof of authority. It's just a group of nodes that decide what chains, what things can pass and what can't pass. So it's not like a blockchain in the, it's not like a public blockchain in that traditional sense of like it's open and whatever. It's actually permissioned and controlled by a set of people, and they can switch it off tomorrow, right? So
that would be the main reason why you wouldn't want to deploy a regular project on this network, is you don't have the same security as like regular chain.
Yeah, and like they can just make ether on these chains out of nowhere and whatever. Like it's not like set up like the proper Ethereum network, right? It's just a test version. It's as close to it as it can be without being the real deal. And so it's a great place to start. It's a great place to do things.
We do have a question in chat from Serini, just wondering about the networks. So it looks like they already have a network ID for Coinbase. Could they use that, or should they only focus on Ethereum Base or Polygon for this purpose?
For this specific example, let's just leave this empty, because what it should do is, I can't remember where it is in the code, but it should actually it should do base Sepolia by default.
Okay, perfect.
And if it can't, because actually that would be an interesting thing, we can always tell it to through Replit, right? So I think that might have happened when I actually did this originally. So we should just go with it. So,
and one last quick question from Serini as well too is just confirming if they need a wallet that is active with funds in it for tonight.
No.
Okay.
Because it's still testnet money. It's not real money.
Okay. Perfect.
We're gonna get some fake money along the way. We're gonna have some, right? Okay. So the key thing though by now is that we've basically set up the base template here. So if we just hit this green play button, let's see, an error might appear. Let's see what happens. Okay, so what's our error? blah, 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 blah. API code not found. I'll show you something very cool. And I think this is interesting. I think this is the way to deal with a lot of this stuff. We can just copy this, all of this, and say, hey, so if you click here, I don't know, this is a Zoom thing, it's in my way. But it says here, you can speak with your agent, you can either build or plan, right? So what we're gonna do here is we're not building anything, we're just trying to work out what this error is. So you can click plan, and you can copy all of this. So let's just copy this again. So this is basically like a big error, right? Just say, hey, can you explain to me what this error is saying? Now let's give it a go.
Just while it's responding, Arthur, I'm at the screen where I added in all my secret keys and my APIs. I still have the network ID blank. How do I get back out of this screen to where?
So at the top, it should say console or secrets, right?
Okay.
So
Yep.
you're in the secrets tab.
Okay.
Now, if you go to console, it will
Yes.
come here. And then if you just press the green button, the play button, it should get going.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
No, awesome. That's what we're here for. Saying to create a new wallet. So if you hit play, what are you getting, Frank? Because I didn't get this error before, but you know, it's
Yeah.
part
Can I? Maybe I'll share my screen here real quick.
Yeah.
To do that. Okay. You see my screen here?
You're getting the same one. It looks like the same arrow, right? So if you go to copy all of that, just to see like what I did. And then you change that build button on the left to plan.
Okay.
And then say, can you explain to me what this error is, or some version of that? The beauty of live demos. It's quite cool though, because I think you're learning how to solve the problems as they occur.
Yeah.
And that's the real thing here, really, is that the AI allows you, or you might need to paste in the error. Let's see what it says. It might actually, I don't see the error. Yeah, so you need to paste in the error.
Okay.
So say, can you explain to me what this error is? Cool. And it's going to, explain to you. I'm going to try to figure out, because this wasn't happening to me originally. Oh, I know what's happening. Look, this is really cool. Let me share my screen again. Oh yeah, yeah. Look. So no. You can show yours. Like if you scroll down, it'll probably explain. Scroll down a little bit on that left side, like you're doing.
My mouse died.
No. Bring it back. Bring it back.
All right, let me find where I can get it board here. Just one sec.
All right, well, you can. I'll let me take over the screen. I'll share it on my screen.
You do it.
Bring the mouse back to life. Can I share mine?
Is he gonna let you take over or no?
Yeah, I don't know. Can people see mine? Can anyone let me know?
Yes.
There we go. I'll grab the cord here real quick.
I can see your
Amazing.
screen, Arthur.
Great. Okay. So basically, this is cool. So this is how we solve problems. So it's saying here, you need to create a new wallet. The app likely has wallet data stored somewhere, like a wallet DAT file. So what it's doing is it's probably reading this wallet data. Look, there is wallet data in here. And we wanted to read our secrets, not this wallet data. So what we can say here is, okay, instead of reading the wallet, what happened there? Ah, Zoom getting in the way. Wallet data, the .wallet data file. Can you please reference the secrets instead? And if I click plan, you'll see that it will actually try to figure out how to do this. It will basically make a plan for how to change that.
Awesome.
And this is cool because these are the real problems you come across. Like this, you know, it's not if I was showing you this and everything worked out perfectly, you wouldn't know how to solve the real things that happen when you're trying to get this stuff to work, right? But you see, the beauty is like it explained to us the problem, right? It told you, oh, the root cause, the wallet data is wrong, right? And then it said there's a wallet data file, right? Needs to be cleared or updated. And then what I did was I went into here, this button here, see the files, and I said, oh yeah, there is a wallet data file. And it has a bunch of stuff. That's not what we want. We want to be using the secrets that we created, right? So, I mean, another way of doing it would be to copy and paste the values into here as well. That would be equivalent. But I think it's better to just stick with the secrets form. So great. So what it's going to do, I'll help you modify the code to use secrets instead of what data file. First, let me look over the code, blah, blah. Perfect. I can see the issue now. Code currently reads and writes to blah. Here's what we need to do. We need to do this, initialize this, read wallet data from an environment variable. There's already a wallet environment variable called, what is it called again? CDP API private key. Can you plan to read from that, please? Ah, someone's raised a hand.
Yeah, it looks like we have Serena with their hand up. If you want to unmute yourself and lower your hand, the floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I'm at the same question, but I got the suggestion a little different. It says, can you provide me with the secret data instead of wallet information?
Maybe you can paste what the
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I will wait until you solve the screen, then I'll show my screen.
That sounds like a good plan. So you see, like all I'm doing here is I'm just answering the questions that it's asking me, right? Like I'm basically having a conversation. I need to clarify something. The wallet provider for wallet, no data. This environment variable sounds like a private key only, which is the full wallet data structure, blah, 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 blah. Got it. So you have private key stored. Here's the challenge, but you only have a private key. There is same because code trying to load a wallet's ID, which doesn't exist anymore. Here's my plan. Stop using the wallet file approach, read the private key, initialize the wallet data. However, I need to check the CPCS, blah, blah, blah. The current code structure specifies full wallet data, so may need to use different design configure. Let's just build. Let's just try to build with this. Okay.
Arthur, do you think the prompt "cut the crap" would work there too?
Perhaps. I try to be polite to.
Yeah, no, that's right. Good rule of thumb. Yeah.
Maybe one day when they'll remember that I was polite to them.
As long as you don't change your username or name.
So look, I basically with that whole planning, I was just like conversing with the Replit agent, right? I'm not sure what they're using under the hood here. I can't remember, but it's, you know, it's going to be some Claude or OpenAI or something in the background. But I was just speaking with it and said, okay, I'm going to do it. And then it basically comes up with like a blue thing that says, just start building, and it switches the mode for you. It switches into like build mode, and then you're like, okay. And now it's implementing. So it's actually just going off and doing its thing, right? So maybe in this time, what was the question Srini had?
Serena, do you want to mute and potentially share your screen if you're comfortable?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Share.
Stop sharing. Right?
Yeah.
If we did not put in today, when will we return?
So whilst we're waiting, my Replit agent is going off and doing its work.
Yeah, so I just did the same on my end. I just asked it to go ahead and fix it. It's giving me kind of an update step by step as it's working here on the things that it's fixing.
100%. So like that's why I'm seeing here as well, right? So now I'll modify the code to do this. Now I've checked the conditions, whatever, you know,
Nice.
set it this file, remove this file, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. The code has been updated. Let me review the changes. It has like internal concepts of like an architect and so on and so forth. Srini, you want to share screen?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah, you're sharing now.
Can you see my screen?
It's yeah,
Yep.
now I can see. Yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, okay. Good. So what happened? Give me a
If you
second.
go into apps on the left-hand
Yeah.
side,
Okay.
it should. That's where my apps appear when I've created an app. It says
Yeah, I
0.
just had it. When I started to share, something happened. How come? I just had it. Is it like a free app? So it just did
Because at the
some-
moment it says 0 out of 10 free apps created.
I know that is strange. I had
Yes.
all that. Mm,
Maybe just start again. It's no big deal, right?
I had. This is strange. It's the same account.
Great idea.
Is this my account? Yeah, it is my account. Oh, this is completely different.
Well, feel free to stop sharing
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
I think the step there, Sereni, was that if you clicked on the link to that template from Agent Kit, it would then download into Replit and bring you to that page where we have to put all the connections in. So maybe that would be a good place to start, and then refill in
Yeah.
your connections, and then you can share again with us if you get the same error.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a look. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
It's just strange why it switched. Okay.
And
Is there any chance you're using more than one browser? Maybe in one browser is
Yeah.
yeah, it's well, my Replit's still going for it, man. He's building. But he's done a lot of
yeah,
found
I'm
the
in
issue.
the same list here.
Something's complaining. It's like, okay, let me restart the workflow. Error persists. We'll just let it do its thing. So let me just run through the when we do, and we will get to this stage, and we've got plenty of time. When we do pass these errors, what we will get is this in the console, right? So the console will have like, and I think someone said that they'd already done this work before. I can't remember who it was, Frank, but someone said they'd already done this.
Yeah, Katya. Actually, she's
Right.
one of our AI summer camp members as well too.
Awesome. So she's probably reached this point where basically you can now see when you do hit play, it says starting agent, and then it has like available modes, chat or auto.
Yep, actually, she just confirmed in chat that yep, that's what she did, and that shows up on her screen. And funny enough, when she ran through this last week to get things set up, she didn't get the same error that we're getting tonight. So
Right.
she thought it was pretty nice to see that a problem came up just as we were explaining that you can work through these problems with Replit as well.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, I'm preemptively saying it whilst I'm waiting for my Replit to do its thing, is we're going to want to like ask the agent, what's your wallet and stuff like that, just like basic questions. You're going to enter the chat mode, and it's going to tell you, you know, you can ask it like, hey, what's your address? What chain are you on? Blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to want it to have its own ETH, right? This is on base Sepolia. So we'll just say, hey, get some testnet ETH. There's ways for us to do it manually. We can ask it to get itself. When I tried to ask it to do it itself, it failed. So I just went and did it manually. And you can ask it, hey, well, what else are you able to do, right? And it can kind of tell you all the things it can do, right?
So mine just completed as well. It looks like it's saying that it updated the project documentation and that the new wallet has been created on base Sepolia testnet and saved for future sessions. So it looks like mine's already worked through all of the problems and completed the work in 2 minutes, it says.
Amazing. Yours did a better job than mine. Mine's taken 6 minutes of work. And this work supposedly cost me $1.52.
That's weird that we would get a difference like that.
Yeah, interesting. I guess different, you know, different Replits.
Hopefully you're not paying your Replit agent more than mine.
Well, at the moment you're not paying anything, right? I've paid.
That's great.
Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's like when you're paying, they're actually look, it's gone off.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Verify migration, blah blah blah, removal of our codes, successful startup, and here is best practices. We're gonna get that. We'll get there soon. Oh, here we go. Look, it looks like it's the code is updated. So this is an interesting thing. Like this Python code is fixed, so we're actually getting it appearing now. But the Replit AI is still doing stuff. Look, it's updating. It just deleted a file. Just deleted the wallet.dat file. Now let me mark the final task complete working. So although it's still doing stuff, since the project is running and the Python file has updated correctly, it looks like it's running. Great.
Awesome. So
if we just say, choose a mode, we should be basically have finished part 1 by now, right? Which is kind of perfect. It took about an hour. That's why I kind of envisioned it would take, these things take time.
And just to reference back to, so these steps for those that are maybe watching this recording are laid out in that first post that you shared at the beginning of the session tonight.
100%. And it's what I've been referencing as we've gone along, right?
Okay, perfect.
So, oh, there we go. So this is interesting, just as an interesting thing. You see it's still doing stuff, but we can actually use the project. It's like there's 2 things going on here. One is the working environment that, you know, for the project and the code, right? So this is the code and the package files and whatever. And this is it running. Like this code here is running. And you can see that there's this little red thing here. If I want to stop, it's been running for 2 minutes. These milliseconds ticking up. On the other side, there's, you know, Replit AI, which actually updated the code, is still doing its own thing. I don't know what it's doing now. It's just telling me that it's finished. Okay, yeah. So like we were seeing 2 things happen at once, right? This is the Replit AI, and this is the AI agent we're creating, right? But anyway, we should be here now. I mean, Frank, is this working on your side as well? Like if you go and, can you see this in the console?
Yep. So mine looks a little different. It just says choose a, like I'm at the choose a mode, enter a number or name, and it's like 1.
So select one for now.
Okay.
And then it should say, you know, prompt.
Yep.
And then ask it like, hi agent, you know, what's your address? You know, something along those lines.
Okay.
So you should get something like this.
No, I think mine might not be fixed.
What's it complaining about now?
Here, I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Okay. Okay, so I had this, right? I did one, and then I just said, "Hi, agent, what's your address?" And then this is what it came back with.
Okay, but I reckon if you scroll down, keep scrolling to the bottom, you exceeded your current quota. What would that be? OpenAI. You don't have, you need to put money on your OpenAI account. So that was the
Okay.
thing that I said, but I didn't say now. So can you see what the error is at the bottom? It says error message. You exceeded your current quota. Please check your plan and billing details for more information. Platform openai.com. So
Man,
if
I
you
didn't even use
yeah.
it.
So yeah, well, so with Replit, they actually, like, if you look on the top left of your Replit, it has this little blue bar there next to the green play button. Yeah.
Yeah.
To the left on the green play button.
Yep.
Yeah, that blue bar, click on it. That's your usage, your free usage, right? And you've used 18% of your free usage. I'm not 100% sure how the credits work on the Coinbase developer platform, but you don't get charged immediately either. But with OpenAI, they don't give you that free lunch. There's no free lunch. You have to set it up. So if you open up the OpenAI part, it's good for us to, when it gets to actually putting up the credit details, you can stop sharing, but I think it's good to just show how to get to this. So if you open up a new tab and then
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I will have to turn off my screen just for a minute because I have to go to my company browser. But I can do it
yeah,
there. Um,
oh,
so
do
the one,
stop sharing. Feel free to stop sharing then.
okay, and so just the one question though I had, because I'm wondering if this ties to like my agent only using 2 minutes and your agent being 6 minutes. Could it be because I have access to GPT-5 that maybe it's using a faster model to do it faster? Like, would that be a potential, or is it going to be the same model regardless?
Well, so the Replit agent is not what you're connected. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there's two kind
Oh,
of
I see.
things going on here,
Okay.
right? So the platform API is where the error is coming from. But the
Yeah.
Replit AI, I actually don't know if it's using OpenAI in the background or Claude. I can't remember. So
Okay.
it's using something totally different, right?
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I just wasn't sure if that the fact that mine was able to complete the work so much faster than yours was related to anything about the type of billing that you have set up on OpenAI. But I guess as Replit is its own agent and it's
Yes.
got its own operating system, essentially, it's not dependent on my OpenAI credentials.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for right now just to go in and see if I can clear this error by fixing that billing issue.
Cool. But this is good. I mean, these are the errors that come up. Like, you know, I actually had exactly this error because I created a new account with OpenAI for this and it had no money in it. So my other account, I wasn't using that one. And so you need to add at least $5 for it to work. And so, but do try to do that in the background, Frank, and anyone else who might be stuck, and you know, please do ask questions. So
Yeah, I'm gonna do this right now.
what we'll have afterwards is, you know, this templated agent where now you can sort of ask it like, you know, what are you able to do? Because it's already got a few functions it can kind of do for you. So it should be telling me here. Okay, here. I can assist you with various on-chain actions, including checking address reputation, requesting test tokens, deploying contracts, trading assets, transferring tokens, getting balances, fetching price data. So if we go and say, can you get some test ETH from a faucet for yourself, please? So this is a pretty essential step where if it can't do it itself, we'll just do it for it. I've successfully got some test ETH. So what's your balance now? Negative balance, great. 0.1 ETH. Amazing. So I'm gonna pause for a second, see if Frank's.
So I've just got all the payment information in. I've thrown $10 into my API account here. It's just completing the transaction.
I think Srini did a thumbs up a while back, so I don't know if they want to say something or he wants to say something. Stop sharing for a second.
So just while we're waiting for Srini, if they want to come back, I have successfully added the $10. So now would I just go to rerun this agent, like go to the top and essentially have it perform the same thing again, or what's the next step?
Yeah, if you start sharing your screen again.
Okay, let's do that.
I think Srini was saying that they need to start again. I mean, we have time. It'd be great if you were able to follow, because I think you were quite enthusiastic.
Sounds good.
Okay, so now you want to press the play button again on the top left. Just like,
Okay.
you know, start again.
Okay, and then we do our one again here.
There we go.
My agent, what is your wallet address? Right, that was a question we wanted to
Yeah.
ask.
That's great.
Yeah, all right.
Amazing. There we go. You got your agent.
Awesome.
First half of the work done. Keep your screen open, because we could just do it through yours, because I was doing it on mine, but we can just do it again. So if you go and ask now, what different actions are you able to do? Something like that. Like, and it will kind of tell you what it's capable of. There we go.
So
It
deploying
can-
smart contracts, deploying NFTs, deploying ERC20 tokens, trading assets, transferring tokens, getting balances, requesting faucet funds, checking address reputation, and fetching price data. So these are all abilities that are pre-built into that template we got from AgentKit. Is that correct?
Perfect. That's it. So the next thing we're going to do is build those specialized agents, right? But before anything, let's play around with this version, and let's do it through your screen, because I think it'll be interesting. So if you say record, you know, it says requesting faucet funds, right? So if you say, could you, I mean, like however you want to write it, but like ask it to get some faucet funds for you. Like I'm like, hey, could you please? Like I'm very polite to my robot.
Just as simple as that? Like, don't have to
Perfect.
give it an amount or anything at all, or?
No, you should be able to get something.
Okay,
So
let's
let's
see.
see. Received ETH. Hey,
There we
I've
go.
received. Great. So now ask again, what's your balance or something like that. There we go. You got 0.1 ETH.
Man, if only it was that easy to get real ETH.
Why don't you send my agent some ETH? Let's just play around. We've got two agents. We've got them hanging out. I'll send you my address.
Okay. You want to just
chat.
put it in the chat? Perfect.
Yeah. So I sent you that. That's my ETH, my agent's address. So then you just say, can you send 0.001 ETH to this address or something like that?
Okay.
Is it able to paste?
Try something here.
It might not be able to paste because it's a console. Let me just try on my side as well.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like you can paste.
I did manage to paste here.
Did you?
Command C, Command V.
Yeah. You know what? I'll try Command C and then Command V actually. Oh yeah, that's weird. When I do Command V, I just get that little up arrow.
Okay, well, do the opposite. Why don't you give me that address, your address,
Okay.
your native address there.
Okay.
Copy it into the chat and I'll do it on my screen.
There should be.
Cool. So if you stop sharing yours, I'll share mine.
Let's get rid of that prompt.
So if I say, can you please send 0.01 ETH over to this address? We should see it doing something. Insufficient.
Oh, no. We got another problem to work through.
I think
This
the
is
thing
good,
is,
though.
it got confused. I currently have, which is equivalent to 0.0. It got confused, right? Can you send 1/10 of my funds over to this address? It's getting confused with the thing. Let's just copy this number. So,
Okay.
can you send ETH over to? Should work now.
No. Wonder if I can.
Let me just check my address.
Yeah, I'm gonna try something here to see if I can send to you with using another method. Yeah, no. That's weird that it doesn't let you paste, or at least, oh wait, hold on a sec. Allow. Okay. I saw Katya also is having the same problem in chat. So apparently when you right click on the console, here, I'll just share my screen real quick, if that's okay, Arthur.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you, so see how, here, I'm going to take this out. So when I was in the prompt here, when I right click, I just scroll down a little bit. And if I hit paste there in the little box, it works, but it wouldn't let me use Control V or Control C. So that's the way I can get your address in there.
Okay. I think what's going wrong with my specific case is that for some reason it thinks it has more ETH, and then when it goes into it, it's like, oh, I don't have that much ETH. So I basically just, if you come look at my screen again, it should be solved here. So if we go and we say, actually, this much ETH is in there, because I basically said, are you sure you have 0.1 ETH? And it said, actually, no, I don't. I've got this much ETH. It's like, okay, send this much. And so what is the wallet address I'm sending to? It's this one. And I think this is what time it will work. So can you send to please? And then saying that there's not enough ETH because it just got confused.
Gotcha.
Successfully transferred. Great. Cool.
All right. There you go. Perfect.
So now if you go on your agent side, I'll stop sharing, you share your screen again.
Okay.
Then you can ask how much ETH do you have, and it will update.
Does it usually, like, how quickly does it
It's instant.
work on the testnet? Instant on the testnet?
Yeah, it's instant. The transaction's ready.
Okay, so
We can even open up Sepolia's Etherscan and see how much ETH do I have now. Can you say, are you sure? For whatever reasons, making this like. There we go. You can see that it was wrong. And it's like, actually, I apologize for the oversight. The actual balance is that. And it's like, actually, is that actually 0.11 ETH? Do ask it and it'll realize it's wrong. Is that actually 0.11 ETH? Because it's not that much ETH. It's less. Yeah. Oh, Katya sent me some. Nice. Sending each other fake ETH. Although there it goes. Oh, to clarify, it's actually that. Thanks for pointing it out. Okay, now it's figured out.
You know, I was having a debate with a good friend of mine this weekend because he's been reading a lot of articles about AI scheming against humankind right now. And I'm like, dude, I don't think we're even there. There's still so many issues with these programs. If it's scheming, it's already meaning that we've got a lot of intelligence there This clearly doesn't have that. Anyway.
No, I think we've got to give it a few years, and I think we will get there.
Yeah.
I got a lot of ETH from Katya. She sent me a lot.
Cool.
Let me see if let me share mine now,
Yeah.
Frank. So if I say, can you show? No, supposedly it's that. Are you sure? I'm gonna have to do the same thing again. Are you sure? Are you sure it's? I apologize. Oh no, it is actually right. Let's see, is that right? Does it mean Katya just sent me loads of ETH? What were the previous transactions to my address? Can't currently do that. But what we can do is just go and check it ourselves. So if we go into the Sepolia base scan and we copy my address over, which is this one, you should be able to see.
So just while we're confirming this transaction, I love that, you're able to go and do this as well too, just to check on chain. So just as a bit of like a recap, I guess, for everybody here, we've gone through step one of your two-part blog post, which talks about setting up these accounts, connecting the APIs, setting up billing, getting the template in to Replit, and now getting all these connections plugged in and getting the base essentially to work. So now that we've got, essentially we've tested it out, it seems like we're able to interact with this agent kit that we've put into Replit, and we know what it's capable of through asking it, like, what are you able to do? How does this then translate into building something? Like, I'm just wondering how this all kind of connects to that.
I guess we should move to part two then. I think that might answer that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so we've got the base in now. So there's what we're going to do together in the next 30 minutes or so is create our own kind of version from this. But just to make it clear, like, you can see this is very powerful and it's actually doing stuff, but you can also see it's making mistakes. And so I think that the thing that happens is when you build like what we're building over Yield Seeker, we can't be letting the AI make these sort of mistakes. So there's a lot more work than what we're just doing here, right? And we start getting into the code, and actually, because I'm keeping it, we haven't looked at any actual code. We haven't gone in here and written anything here, right? And it's just one file that is pre-built, right? Yield Seeker itself is like a huge project already. So to get further down the line takes a fair amount of work, but we can do a lot of powerful stuff just from this place that we're at now, which is what we'll do.
So on that note, I'm curious your thoughts in regards to it making mistakes, because I think this is like potentially a big concern if you're building a project using this template. Just these little mistakes we've seen here. If you're going to be handling like transactions with real money, this is something you don't want to see, making mistakes. So would that be like, could you correct that through prompting, or is it going to be corrected through code? I'm just kind of curious, like what
it's all of it. It's all of it. Yeah. So like our prompts that we actually give to our agent are massive. Like it took a lot of time to get to what the prompt looks like now. At the start it was simple, and it just got refined and added its like constraints and all sorts of stuff happened along the way, right? And actually some of the stuff we just don't even let the LLM do, we just do ourselves, right? So there's a mix. There's like a mix of like refining the code and whatever. And also, I don't even know at the moment what, I think we're using like GPT-3 or something. I actually haven't checked which one that this is automatically using. But we're specifically for our project, we're using Gemini's like latest version, right? So there's like, you're gonna adapt on several fronts, right? I'm not precious about using Gemini. It's actually just worked really well. I think eventually we want to swap to another one. But the point I'm making is like, We're just doing like the basic thing here. As soon as you're like getting really into it, you're going to change how the prompts work internally. You're going to write codes in some places where you don't want the AI to do stuff, and so on and so forth, right? And there's a really key point that happens with like generally with this AI, with this agent stuff in AI, is that you write functions that the AI needs to pick. So you end up, your prompts look a lot like digest this information and make a decision based on these functions that you can call and what parameters you put in, right? And then the functions we've written, right? So it's all code that we've written. So it can't go off and do random stuff. Like it can't accidentally send your money to like someone else, right? Like that's code that we've written that we don't let it do that, right? So there's ways of constraining mistakes that the AI might make, and yeah, you control it through the prompting and the code as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes great sense. I think
And
we
I
covered
think-
a lot of prompting in previous discussions as well too, even with Joe. And it's pretty impressive, how detailed some of these prompts can get and just how lengthy they can get. But yeah, it's great to see that that's still a relevant skill here, even in this this side of things.
Yeah, and honestly, like the prompt engineering involved in what we've done is pretty massive, but it wasn't like we sat down and decided a prompt. It was like iterative, right? Like we need this to work better, we fixed it. And then we need this, and then it started breaking something else. And then like over time, we just made it better and better and better for our use case, right?
Right.
So yeah. Okay, so cool. So next step is let's actually go off and make, I mean, we said we'd make these ones, so let's make these ones, right? A wallet activity notifier and a smart contract analyzer. And I think we can do these relatively fast, and Replit will do the work for us. So go
We
for it.
should also talk about with Wallet. So like each one of these scenarios, I know you and I picked them from just previous kind of chats to prepare for this session tonight. Maybe we want to talk about like what would be a good use case for this, like a wallet activity notifier. I think the intent there when I selected it was that this could be really interesting if you're following, let's say, an influencer in the space and you want to mimic the trades that they're doing in real time. This is a tool that could follow their wallet and notify you. So then that way you're able to make those same trades at the same time.
100%. So actually, when we were discussing this, we went on to, I think it was ChatGPT, and said, hey, give us some interesting ideas of what we could, specialization do. We actually use the AI to give us ideas on what the AI could be, that we could use the AI to make the AI. So yeah, like that's the interesting thing here is like you can come up with all sorts of different ideas. And the ideas that we did end up deciding on, these two here, were specifically with, the first one was exactly like Frank said, which is it has a real use case, which is you want to follow an influencer or some specific wallet. You want to know when they're making decisions so that you can track them and make your own decisions based on top of that. You can get your agent to do it. And so, yeah. And the smart contract analyzer, I think, was if you're trying to understand what you're investing in, and maybe it's a token or something, and you're not sure, what's going on because you can't read the code necessarily yourself, you can get an agent to explain the code in plain English, right? And so that's what these two examples are. But honestly, we could go in, a big range of different directions here if we wanted to.
Awesome. All right,
Cool.
well, let's build one.
Let's do it. So let's go here. And so then this is interesting, right? Because then you might think, okay, well, what are we going to do next? Like, do we start a new template or like, and so this was an interesting process that I actually went up with Replit. I was like, what's the best thing to do? So I just asked it. I said, I want to make our agent be able to track specific on-chain wallet address. And when that address does something interesting or create a notification, be able to take specific on-chain action. Can you build a plan to implement this? I went and did that. So I went into plan mode. I said, let's do this, right? And we'll see what it says. So I'll preemptively tell you what it says because it might take a while. What it said to me the first time and maybe it'll say something different now. But what it said to me the first time was some really long plan that was really over architectured and really complex. And I was just like, that's going to take ages. Can you just give me a simple version of this and make it easy? And it said, okay, what I'll look, here we go. It's trying to design an architecture, right? And so what I'm actually just going to stop it. And I'm going to say, can you make a simple plan? I want our agent to be blah, 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 blah. Can you build me a simple plan to implement this that creates a new mode called, what did I call it in my original thing? I called it monitor. Called monitor that only, and I said it'll only notification that only create a new mode called monitor that and only use and don't and keep the code as minimal as possible. So here we go. I want to make our agent able to track specific on-chain wallet addresses, and when that address does something, it'll create a notification. Can you build me a simple plan to implement this that creates a new mode called monitor and keep the code as minimal as possible? So once again, we're in the plan version still, and we hit play. Cool. And so what it will do, I mean, it'll do something slightly different to what I did last time, but what it will do is it will plan for something that looks like this, right? Where we have our chat mode, our auto mode, and monitor. We didn't actually test auto. We can test it in a bit. But chat mode, auto mode, and monitor, right? And then monitor will be this new version that will allow our agent to have this new functionality, right? And so let's see that. Here we go. So perfect. We create a simple minimal plan for adding wallet monitoring to your chatbot. Here's my approach. I'll add a new monitor mode that asks you for a wallet address to watch, polls the blockchain every few seconds to check for new activity, prints console notification transactions are detected, keep it super simple, no database, no complex rules, just basic monitoring. So add a monitor mode, use the SDK, track the last seen, blah, blah, blah. Okay, start building. Great. Start building. That's it. What will inevitably happen is there'll be errors, right? So I'm going to even just stop this running here. Yeah, so what will inevitably happen is there will be errors and we might need a Replit to fix those errors. But see how simple that was. We literally just ask, I think this is the key thing to kind of discuss in this second half of this conversation, which is like, we're not writing any code ourselves. We're just thinking about what we want the agent to do. We're making sure that Replit knows that we're trying to keep it simple for this case, because yeah, when it starts getting complicated, it might try to build databases and stuff, and that's totally out of the scope of what we're trying to do today. But then that's what we need to do, and then we just get it to build it, right? Frank, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, this is fascinating. I think, having that build companion, essentially, like it's like having your own developer here working with you, and you're just conversing with a developer. I think that's what has always excited me the most with these LLMs, is it's like you're able to talk to computers, in plain English, which is great. So I guess for me, just for like understanding sakes here and how everything kind of fits together, if we're building this agent that's going to be tracking a wallet, obviously we need to give it the wallet that it's going to track, so it will need to know that. But then how does that live on after we've built it? Is it going to always live in this console that we have? And then if we wanted to build another agent, we essentially are going to replicate and create a new console with the agent kit, and then that will become that agent. Is that essentially the workings of this?
Yeah, so for the scope of what we're doing here, we're not going to make it like run forever as such,
Yeah.
right? But what you would want to do is, I think you can actually do this in Replit, and I just haven't actually done it myself, but you would want to have an environment where it's just running on its own, right? Much like, any sort of web server, any AWS sort of stuff that you would do, right? You just like upload the files, and you can just ask the AI to help you. It's like, hey, I've got this project that I've built. How do I get it running? I want it to be running the whole time. You might need to understand some words. You might say, hey, I want to run it on my own VPS, my own virtual private server, right? How do I do that? And then
Yeah.
it will just teach you, right? And it'll say, hey, you got these options, you know, you could use Heroku, it's not used that much anymore. You could use AWS, you could use whatever, right? And it will just, yeah, like lead you through and guide you through the process.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So what about, and we might be getting here, so sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but in regards to this particular agent we're building, once we have it built and it asks us for the wallet to track, can you set up things like email notifications so that it will email us when something happens?
100%. I haven't tested that. So if we were to try to do that now, I'm like 90% certain we'd run into some problems and we could take a long time trying to fix the problems.
Yeah.
But yes, it wouldn't be crazy. It wouldn't be a particularly crazy thing to do, right?
Okay.
Wouldn't be very difficult. It would need to download some libraries and it would need to do some other stuff for itself, right? To figure that out. But it's,
Okay.
you know, nothing particularly, you know, unusual or difficult. What becomes harder is like, you know, have it spin up loads of different agents and track lots of different data, because then you start getting into like a lot of database stuff. And even then, you know, you can go off and do that, but it's going to take a longer amount of time, right? It's just going to take longer. But yeah, very doable
Cool.
stuff.
I see Ronnie.
I have a
muted.
question. Yeah. A few moments ago, Arthur, you asked, you prompted it to simplify the plan. So when you do that, I'm just curious. So like, what was the purpose in doing that? And also, do you potentially like sacrifice the stability of the action by doing that? Or yeah, what's happening there?
Yeah, so what it did the first time I did it, right? And you know, of course I didn't let it finish out that prompt. You didn't get to see it, but it made a really long plan where it was like, I'm going to create webhooks, I'm going to need a database, I'm going to need to do all of this, I'm going to need to do all of that. Phase 1, I'm going to do some real-time monitoring, and phase 2, whatever. And I was like, this is going to involve so much code, and it's going to involve so many more files, and it is going to start requiring like something that's permanently on, right? And so I was just like, just doesn't seem worth it for the scope of what we're trying to achieve here, right? So if you didn't ask it to simplify, it might have given this really long answer. And so what I did to simplify was say, hey, write as little code as possible and just make a new mode, right? Because it could have gone off and just like basically scrapped all of this code and gone off and done some totally different thing. Does that explain that, Ronnie?
Yes, thank you.
Cool, awesome. So we do have something that we've made here. Let's see how, look, there we go. 4 minutes of work. It supposedly tracks or transact. Let's see. Obviously, these things never work first time. So let's just see what happens. Okay, enter a wallet address to monitor. Let's enter Frank's. What was your
It'd be like
wallet
no
address?
activity.
No, the one that you just created was
Just the
your
one
agent.
transaction, yeah.
Yeah, because then
Yeah,
what you
that's a
can
good
do,
test. Yeah,
you can actually get it to do a transaction. So let's
let's
monitor
do it.
this. Okay, and let's just get it. Default error. Great. SDK has not been initialized. Please initialize. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, what we're going to say here. So inevitable. Some errors appear. So we just say plan. Say, hey, I'm getting these errors. I'm getting this error below. Can you help me fix it, please?
So would
Now,
these errors be caused by the template, like the agent kit template, or would they be caused by Replit? Just kind of curious.
well, imagine Replit is a coder, and you've gone off and said, coder, go and do this work for me. And then the coder went off and did this work, and for whatever reason, he didn't test it properly at the end. That's the closest analogy to what's happened here, right?
Mm.
So he's written the code and he just didn't test it properly. So let's go here. The monitor mode needs to initialize, blah, we're skipping a step. Blah. Okay, let's see if it succeeds. If it doesn't succeed, essentially the way to solve it is just to do this, right? And I'm in the interest of time, I might just skip it, right? And I'll just show you like, this is one I made earlier, sort of thing, right? But in principle, this is all that you need to do now. You just need to ask it to keep updating and so on and so forth. Let's check the one I have made earlier. So if it comes to it, we can just ask. Let me just check that it's running. Play here. Should. Starting agent, there we go. This is like the one I made earlier. We'll come back to that in a sec. Let's see if we can fix it. It's working. Go for it. Go for a replit. Look, restarted the chatbot. I believe in you. Got to say positive words of affirmation to your AI.
So they don't kill you in 20
Yeah.
years.
I thought, didn't you guys see the report? I think it was like a year ago that they found out that when you're actually a little bit, maybe aggressive is too strong of a word, but a little bit more assertive with the LLMs, that they actually started to do better work.
I did read that. Yeah, I read
Yeah.
that. I actually think they use the word if you threaten them.
Yeah, right, probably.
But I don't want to threaten them. I'm okay.
No, let's not.
I'd rather it worked a little bit less well, and then, you know, like Frank said, 20 years from now, it thinks, oh, he was a good guy. He was nice. He was nice.
Going through the
Yeah.
execution list there.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. Let's try again. So if we go into the here, Katia left, unfortunately. Let me just go and grab the. I was actually going to try to get her to do it. Oh, look, new
Great.
transaction. Okay, so wait a sec. Let's just let it rock for 10 seconds.
Yep.
And then see if actually if there's anything like, oh, I haven't worked or I haven't succeeded. Well, actually, why don't we you try just doing a transaction. Try to go on your side, Frank. And this was your address, right? Or have I copied the wrong address?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's mine. Let me just still check it here.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is mine.
So then why don't you say, can you send, and then you're going to need to check that you're sending the right amount of ETH because of that whole thing though. Yeah, last. Can you send 0.000001 ETH to to my address? It would have been fun if Katia was here. We could have done it with hers, but anyone else has an address that they want to send? Anyone else who's possibly followed?
Okay, so I just sent 0.0001 ETH to your address.
Oh, there we go. Look, new transaction detected. But these are very boring, right? These transaction messages are boring. So why don't we say this is great, but the transaction but this is great. It's working, but it's but not giving very
We want some
interesting
details, right? Like, give us some details instead of just the hash.
Can you please give more info than just the hash?
Okay. And then you know what we can do? I can send you a random number that I won't say, and then I can share my screen and we can see if it actually picked it up correctly.
Yeah, definitely. Let's try it.
Okay.
Let's just let it do its thing first.
Yeah, totally.
So cool. So this is the process. You see how simple this is? It's like pretty damn cool, right? And what we'll do next is the other one, the smart contract analyzer, and you'll also see how equally simple, the process is for that.
Awesome.
Now, Arthur, when do we start toppling over foreign governments with this?
That's the next
The
Next
next
workshop.
workshop.
Bootcamp 333.
Gotta wait for Frank to arrange that boot camp.
Right. And I don't think that one should be free, by the way, but yeah.
Might be on the dark web as well too.
Right.
It's cool though, isn't it? Because like you can
Yeah.
actually see the logic it's going through, and like you can see, look, it's decided on transaction detail, and then you can actually open it up and says the user wants more detailed information. Let me check what other information, the from address, value, gas. Let me take it, blah, blah. I'll enhance the monitor mode to make this, and then you can close that. And look, it just says, okay, cool. And then next steps, open this file, decided on the transactions. Look, now I need to enhance to show more details. Let me blah, 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 blah. I'll replace a simple display with a more detailed one. And then it edited it. And you can see the code editor it made as well, right?
That's pretty impressive that it gives you all that detail.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And then it's literally like you're looking into like a coder and saying like what is going through their mind, what they're trying to do, and then it's like, okay, all of this, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. I've enhanced the monitor mode. Now it shows all of this stuff. So let's give it a go. I bet something will break, but that's fine. We'll fix it.
I thought we
Yeah.
were going in a different direction with this. I thought you were going to tell it to like maybe give you like a bell chime every time it detected a new transaction, or give each wallet address a unique name or something. I thought we were going somewhere else with this.
It's given this really ugly thing. Like, let me just say, like this the transactions look super ugly now. This transaction details look super ugly now. Can you make it more human readable? An example is this. Yeah, Ronnie, we're not gonna do that this time. Maybe next time. But
So
yeah,
can this create some like front end at all? Like in your experience, have you seen Replit do any front end work or?
yeah, it's not as good as Lovable. Lovable
Yeah.
is pretty impressive on that front. But yeah, you could definitely create a front end for this. This could definitely be done in a much prettier way than just through a console.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lovable. If anyone in the chat hasn't used it yet, I definitely highly recommend checking it out. I have a little experience with it, but my first impressions were I was pretty impressed. I gave it a nice, healthy prompt, but what it spit out was what I felt like a website that was 95% finished.
Yeah, I mean that's what we did in one of the previous workshops. Frank got me on. I don't know if you've got those recordings somewhere, Frank.
Yeah, right now they're living in our kind of gated community, but I've got some plans for those to be a little bit more public for facing starting in October. So
Awesome. Yeah, so like that we went through there, right? And we used Lovable to make a pretty nice looking website, right, at the time. Very cool stuff. Completely agree, Ronnie. You don't have to give it a very complex thing for it to, come up with some great output, right? Look at this. It's like on its own, like it's kind of speaking with itself. Look, it asked the architect for review, and the architect said it's running. Let me check. And then it said transaction, blah, 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 failing to meet requirements, potentially misleading users. Further precision adjustments are needed. And then it went off and said, good catch by the review. Formatting would be very small. And then it's gone and try to fix it up again. And now it's reviewing again. Like it's like it's having internal dialogue. It's like a little team working through solving the problems, right? Pretty cool.
yeah, that's really cool.
I think we'll have enough time to get this one working and then do the smart contract analyzer, and it's gonna pretty much come up on the 2-hour mark quite well. So
It's been a great session this evening, Arthur. Really appreciate your time. It's amazing how quickly the 2 hours has gone by. Actually, I'm always surprised how fast the time goes. So I am going to get my prompt ready for this secret amount that I'm going to be sending. And then once we confirm that the view is cleaned up on your agent, I'll send this transaction and we can see if it picks up the right amount.
Awesome. Let's try it. So it looks like it should be working now. Let me get your address again. Look, now it's actually showing some information.
It looks much cleaner.
I mean, we could always make it even better. Like it's like from
Yeah.
this address to this address, the
Yeah.
value is time that it
And-
ran.
And you could request that specifically, right? Like you could essentially create a prompt that says, this is the information I want you to pull from the hash and display, right?
100%. 100%. I've been letting it figure itself out, but I could be way more specific.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to send this transaction here. Now let me complete it. And then let's see if it picks it up.
Takes seconds, right? So
one second.
I'm going to grab the prompt that I had for the next one. In the meantime,
Yep. I have insufficient amount. Let me choose a different amount here.
let's add a few more zeros at the front and it should
Yeah.
work. So preemptively, whilst Frank's doing that, the fourth mode, right, and the final part of what we're going to do here is a mode that we're going to call analyzer that will take a smart contract address and return in plain English what it does. For example, if it's a token smart contract, it will say the name, the number of tokens, and the rest, right? That's the plan. So I'm just going to let it figure out. Oh, look, Frank sent me he sent me 333.
All right. With 5 zeros in front. Perfect. It works. Yeah. It's picking it up exactly.
Cool, right? So, this is like you off somewhere else doing your transactions, and my agent over here is sniffing, paying attention to your wallet. So if you,
cool.
that could very much be happening with any real well, I mean, actually, it wouldn't even be too hard for us to swap this to not be on the base Sepolia network and be on the mainnet network and just start monitoring. Like it would literally be a case of swapping the secrets. I'm sure something will appear, right? Like an error will appear somewhere along the line. They always do. But it's fundamentally the principle is just swap this to be ETH mainnet or whatever it requires. I'd probably ask the agent, can you do ETH mainnet? And then it will tell me what ETH mainnet is. And we could just start monitoring some famous person like immediately.
Crazy.
It's not like we're not like 50 steps away from following real transactions. Like this is no steps away from it's like 0.1 steps away from following real people.
Okay, and then you could create a pretty interesting landing page with all of the trades happening in real time for people to go to, right? Like there's definitely some type of monetization possibilities here with these tools.
Yeah, no doubt. And then cool. So now look, we're going to do the analyzer one. So it's like great idea. Build this analyzer mode. What it's going to do, I'm going to have a contract data extraction. For ERC20s, I'll do this. For NFTs, I'll do this. For other contracts, I'll do this. Should we use the AI agent to generate plain English description or just show raw data? Let me know your thoughts. So that you kind of have a conversation here. So it's like the agent should generate plain English descriptions. Just give me the basic details. If you can't find if contracts are unverified, are unable to read, then just tell me this, and let the network be specified by the user's secret environment variables. as with the rest. I'm just answering the questions it asked me, right? And so then it'll build a plan, and then we just hit build, and that's it. We'll be there. Whilst we're waiting for it to do that, I'm gonna stop this mode here. I'm gonna run it again, and I'm actually gonna do something interesting which we didn't do, which is run this auto. Oh look, there, it's figured out the plan. So what we'll implement an analyzer option, prompt for smart contract address, blah, 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 extracts basic information, passes the contract data. If the contract can't be read, use the same network ID, blah, blah, blah. Build, start building. Great. So whilst it's building, I'll show this auto mode, which we didn't actually test it out. So what auto mode does is in the template, right, is it just starts going off and doing random stuff for you, which is kind of cool. So it's like, this is the address, received ETH from the faucet. It just decided to get ETH. And now it deployed an NFT contract called something. All these things get in the way. Contract to this address. Here's the symbol, is CNC. Deployment address is there, transaction hash. We should be able to see it here. Look, there we go. It's created this contract, which is an ERC20. And this is the code. It just created that randomly. Yeah, it's just going off and doing this. And it could, like, we're on the testnet because we want to be. We could be on the mainnet. Like, this could just be doing stuff on the mainnet. It would obviously cost money. Like, that's why I'm not doing it there. But like, if I gave it real ETH, it could just go off and start doing, like, it created this NFT collection. It created this token. It tried to do something and failed. Don't know
That's
whether it's
super interesting. Yeah, so just easily able to pick up all of this information that's just readily available on the chain.
Yeah. And now we're gonna take that, like, it's just creating random stuff. It created another NFT called Ink, innovative NFT collection. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna, the analyzer will analyze these. Like, we'll get it to analyze these contracts, right? And tell us what it's made, right? So let me just copy some of these addresses. So this deployment address here. So this should be cat. Is that an ERC20? Oh, it already updated, restarted. So that is an ERC20 called cat. So if we get the analyzer, that was one of the things it created, right? We can check all the things that it's doing. Look, it did a bunch of random stuff. It created an address. It created a contract here, another contract here, another contract here. If we go here and we say, in a sec, we'll do that. Let it finish. But we'll get it to analyze one of the contracts it's just made. And it's going to come up with what we just saw, what we saw it making. Right. Once again, you're no steps away from doing this on mainnet. We're just not doing on mainnet because it just costs a bunch of money. Right.
So what would be that process to go from this testnet to mainnet? That, like, do you have any advice as to how you would test out your kind of concept before you wanted to go to mainnet?
Well, this is what testnet's for, right? So everything we're doing here, we can just switch the secret from this network ID secret to ETH mainnet or something, and it would, you just repeat the steps, repeat the actions you asked it to do. There, does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. This has been incredible just to see how easy it is to use AgentKit. I think for me, it's really just opening up my mind to like some possibilities that allow you to kind of combine AI and crypto quite easily, because you've got this huge resource already built from AgentKit that you can just converse through Replit to come up with different potential agent workflows quite easily. Ronnie, what's your thoughts? I'd love to kind of hear your take on what we've built here tonight, and Any projects or workflows you're thinking of potentially using here now with the knowledge that you've gained from this workshop?
Yeah, I mean, I really do kind of want to build, and I hope AI cover your ears, a mindless robot that just does something, and something that's that I've come to just dig in a little bit on recently is this. I don't know who's behind it. Some of you might have heard of it, but it's something called the Punk Strategy, and it's a token that's basically that it takes fees from all of the buys and sells, and it goes out and buys crypto punks that are on the floor.
Hmm.
Eventually, when
Yeah,
it gets enough, when it builds up enough in the
already
wallet,
bought- I
go
think
ahead,
it's
Arthur.
sorry, I was just gonna agree. Yeah, I think it's already bought like over 10 punks or
Oh, it has
something.
like 15 or something now.
Yeah, and it's worth like hundreds of million, like over 100 million, right?
Something like that, yeah. And that's all it's, yeah, again, and that's all it's doing is just taking the fees from the buys and sells of the coins. And once it has enough to buy a crypto punk off the floor, it goes and does it, but it immediately lists it for 1.2 the price it just bought it for. And I'm just like, so mad that I didn't come up with that idea. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about, something like that, and then and something that's positive. But anywho, so that's kind of like where my head's at with this whole thing, and that's why I was really psyched to join this one. But yeah, Frank, what about you, man? What do you any new ideas or something that you've been kind of wanting to roll out with this?
Well, I think just like even, kind of staying up to date on like, who's doing what in the space is kind of a really interesting use case. I think the whole idea with this wallet kind of tracker, there's so many different possibilities. And even just, thinking about, tracking even not just people's trades for your own potential financial gain, but even just kind of staying on top of how companies are utilizing blockchain on the daily basis is kind of an interesting thing to track and see, like what are those workflows that these companies are implementing outside of just the standard, pipe that comes in the crypto space. But yeah, I think there's so many different applications. I want to dig in a little bit further. I think just that list that Agent Kit provided of like what's it capable of. It would be interesting to riff with AI a little bit on some ideas around, okay, this is what I can do. Now, what are some use cases that, I could potentially use for this business? Or what are some use cases for me to go from 1 ETH in my wallet to 10 ETH? Like these are kind of like just some interesting experiments I think that you could run with this.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think your only limitation is, how much funds can you provide in the wallet to do all this stuff? Really, I think that's the only limitation. You can do whatever you want, just can you afford it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just to finish off here, like we made that analyzer. It took 6 minutes for Replit to make it. And look, I sent it, I gave it the contract that it made in the, when I got it in auto and it was making its own contracts. It made an ERC20 token called Creative Art Token named Cat. And here's a breakdown of its characteristics. The name is called this, and the AI is trying to read into it, which suggests it's associated with creative artistic projects or endeavors. It doesn't realize it was the one that created it randomly. The symbol
that's almost a little concerning though in some ways that it doesn't have that memory capability.
Yeah, you can build it so that it is aware, right? Like it just hasn't been like that. So the symbol cat is a shorthand representation of the token, commonly used in trading and transactions. Total supply of this token is 500 billion tokens. This indicates the maximum supply that has ever been created. Decimals, it has 18 decimal places. In summary, this contract governs an ERC20 token could be used for various purposes likely related to art and creativity. Well, you made it. Allowing users to trade, blah, 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 blah. Cool, right? And now like I can go and check another contract it created. So let's check this one. And let's do the same thing. I think I need to restart it. And that's also like, you could easily say, don't restart, just wait for me to prompt again, right? So let's try this token contract now. Creative token. It's another token, not cat, CRT. Yeah, not very good naming. Let me just go for the next one up. Let's see if it, I think it made an NFT thing, didn't it? This might be the NFT one.
I know we don't have too much time left, but I did want to urge anybody in the crowd if they have any questions that they'd like to ask. Of course, we're always available afterwards on the school platform. But while we're here, while you have Frank and Arthur, and myself for any random pop culture questions you might have, if you have any questions, just throw them in the chat here, because I feel like we might be wrapping up soon. But yeah, I just want to put that out there.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Cool, yeah, I mean, and so then the other thing, we just did another one here, and it was an NFT in this case, creative NFT collection called CNC. Currently, total supply is 0, meaning that no NFTs have been minted yet, created, blah, 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 blah. Summary, this contract set up to do. And there we go. We can see it working. I definitely want to take the opportunity to share my community as well in school.
Please do.
If you
Yeah, just while you're bringing that up, Arthur, I do want to say thank you so much for your time here this evening. I know you've got a lot going on with Yield Seeker right now and your community as well. So appreciate you taking some time to come here and chat with Odyssey. I guess the next step here for everybody that is on the call, just before we give Arthur the final message, is that we are looking at putting more of these boot camps together. So if you're watching this recording, we're aiming to kind of do one boot camp a month right now, just to kind of continue to get this flow moving. And we're hoping to kind of do that right up until the end of the year. So we've potentially got 3 more boot camps for 2025 here that we're going to be organizing. Please do stay in touch with us if there's any recommendations, things you'd like to see. This boot camp primarily came out of a conversation from the community saying we'd love to see the tie-in with crypto and AI. So we really take those suggestions seriously. This recording is going to be available after. We just ask that you fill out a quick feedback form before you view the recording so that we can give Arthur some feedback just in regards to how the session went, how you felt the session went, and also us some feedback so that we know where to continue investing our time in putting these together. But Arthur, again, thank you so much. Please let us know, how can people stay connected with you? Tell us about your community, and we'll give you the final word.
Cool. Yeah, so this is my community in school. It's called Crypto for Beginners. There's like 500 or so people. I did mention this call. Maybe 1 or 2 people joined, I'm not sure. So that's where you can find me on school, and that's just basically where I teach crypto related stuff. But the main thing I'm working on these days is Yield Seeker. I don't know if you've seen this updated version of the website, Frank.
I have not. This looks great.
Changed the hero section a little bit just to update it a little bit. You can check out Yield Seeker here. If you click on Start Earning, you'll get started, or you can watch this video to actually understand how it works. And we're actually raising money right now. Don't know if that's relevant for this group. We've done over half the raise. If anyone is interested, they can reach out to me and I can let them know more. And yeah, I mean, as soon as you start clicking around, you'll find plenty of information about what we're building and what we're doing. And on X, this is my profile, so you can find me there as well. And I think that's probably it.
Awesome, man. Highly recommend anyone here who's with us still or watching the recording, connect with Arthur. I've known Arthur for quite a while now. Very smart guy in the space, knows his stuff, and always willing to teach and educate on all things crypto and AI. So thanks again, Arthur. Really appreciate your time. Ronnie, I see you unmuted. So do you want a final word? We'll maybe give you the final word.
No, don't give it to me, man. I'll just mess it up. But no, I just wanted to double tap what you said. No, Arthur, thank you so much. This workshop was very illuminating. I've been waiting for this one for a bit, because I have some ideas that I think this will help me get started on. So appreciate it. And then just want to thank everyone for joining, participating. See you at the next one. And yeah, that's it. Live long and
Awesome.
prosper, everybody.
Awesome, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks again for joining us. Take care. More to come soon. Bye for now.